Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And in today's episode, we are going to explore Israel's fourth largest city, the city of Haifa. Haifa is Israel's fourth largest city, located north of Tel Aviv and only 25 miles south of the Lebanese border. It's located in the Carmel Mountains, where several biblical stories took place, and offers majestic views of the Mediterranean Sea. It's also home to Israel's largest port, due to the fact that there's a natural harbor here. There's also much of Israel's industrial life takes place here. The largest refinery is here. It's also home to several of Israel's high-tech companies. Let's now go and explore some of this city, the city of Haifa. A great way to see the city's coastline is via the Haifa cable car, located across the highway from the Navy Museum. It brings Christian pilgrims and other visitors to the top of the mountain where the Stella Maris Monastery is located, which commemorates the life of Elijah the prophet. Let's head up now and visit the monastery. One of the most important biblical stories takes place here in the Carmel Mountains that surround the city of Haifa. It takes place during a time when the Jewish people are fractured. The northern 10 tribes had sunk to the depths of idol worship. And a prophet arose from the southern 2 tribes by the name of Elijah. He pleaded with the people of the north to change their ways, and when they wouldn't listen, he challenged their prophets. The prophets to the fake god Baal built an altar, and Elijah built an altar to the one true God. Of course, without there being a god Baal, there was nobody to consume the offering that those false prophets were trying to give up. While Elijah's offering to the one true God was immediately consumed. The people of the north changed their ways momentarily. But the sages ask an interesting question. They say, how come the king during these evil times was so wealthy? Achav had golden chariots. Well, they tell us that the people had sunk to the depths of idol worship, but they still did not speak evil against one another. And this is an important lesson that we should all take heed to, and that is to speak kindly of everyone, and we'll be rewarded justly. After Elijah defeats and humiliates the prophets of the false god Baal, he's expelled by the wicked queen Jezebel. And it's believed by many Jews, Christians, Muslims, that he hid out in the cave you see behind me. In the 13th century CE, a Christian order known as the Carmelite order builds a monastery in this location, and they devote themselves to prayer and study. Today, there's a beautiful basilica here that serves as a pilgrimage point for Christians from all around the world who want to connect to Elijah the prophet and this important biblical story. Let's continue as we explore more of the city.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Welcome to the Visitor Center here in the Baha'i Gardens in downtown Haifa. The Baha'i faith is one of the newest religions in the world that was formed in the middle of the 19th century in Persia when a man known as the Bab declared that there would be a new manifestation of God, a new prophet known as the Baha'u'llah. The Baha'u'llah was prosecuted by the Muslims of the Persian Empire and sent into exile in various parts of the Ottoman Empire. He spent the last 24 years of his life here in Israel, where he wrote many of the scriptures which the Baha'i community considered to be holy. Let's now learn more about this religion and the gardens here in Haifa by meeting one of its members. We're now joined by Leva Irandus, who is a believer in the Baha'i faith, who's going to talk a little bit about the tenets of their belief, as well as why the Baha'i Gardens are considered holy to them. Leva, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for being here.
So tell us a bit about a few of the principles of your faith.
Yes, so the Baha'i believes that God is one and that He has sent throughout history divine teacher to educate mankind and that humanity is one. The Baha'i believes in all these divine teachers who are there. Amongst them we have Krishna, Buddha, Moses, Jesus Christ, and Muhammad. The Baha'i believes that God has sent two additional prophets who are the Bab, the forerunner of the Baha'i religion, and Baha'u'llah, the founder of Baha'i religion.
You know, the gardens here are beautiful, but I also see several monumental buildings. Can you tell us a little bit about the structures?
Of course. So mainly here you have the Shrine of the Bab, which is one of the holiest spots on earth for Baha'i, where all our hearts turn to. So it's a spiritual center. But Haifa is also an administrative center of the Baha'i religion, where you have the main administrative buildings, including one of them, the main, which is the international governance body of the Baha'i religion, called the Universal House of Justice. But you have as well the International Library, where you have the Holy Scriptures and people are studying the holy writings, but also the International Archives, where you have artifacts from the founder and the co-founder of the Baha'i religion.
Amazing. And beyond being a pilgrimage site for believers of the Baha'i faith, you also open the gardens to whomever wants to visit, and you have millions of visitors every year. What do you want a visitor to feel when they leave the gardens?
So the gardens were created to have a fitting approach to the resting place of the Bab. But also the main principle, as we said, is the ultimate understanding of the oneness of God, the oneness of humanity. So by visiting this garden, we want people to meditate on these spiritual principles and have this soothing spiritual feeling of oneness of humanity.
You know, you mentioned the Bab quite often. Can you tell us a little bit about who the man was?
Yes, of course, it will be a pleasure, but maybe it will be more interesting to tell the story closer to the shrine.
Wonderful. Shall we walk down?
Yes.
Leva, the mausoleum here to the Bab, it's absolutely stunning. Tell us a little bit about the structure, but more importantly about who this man was.
This man was named Mirza Muhammad Ali, and he named himself the Bab, which means the gate. He announced himself as a divine messenger that was preparing the venue for something that was greater than him, a divine teacher whose name was Baha'u'llah, which means the glory of God.
I see, so he was the Bab, the gate to the glory of God.
Exactly, that's what he was.
And so he was executed by the Persian authorities in Iran.
Exactly.
So why is he buried here in Haifa in the middle of Israel?
Yes, so basically the Bab was executed over there, but Baha'u'llah himself was exiled in the whole Ottoman Empire, and he ended up here in Akko, where one time he went in Haifa. He pointed out this location to be the resting place of the Bab.
And here you have the Bab is buried in Haifa, Baha'u'llah in Akko, and the gardens here for pilgrims of the Baha'i faith to visit.
Exactly. 5 million Baha'i over the world who are visiting this place, which is the holiest spot on earth for Baha'i.
Thank you so much for opening up the gardens and sharing a little bit about your faith with all of us here. Let's continue as we explore more of the city of Haifa.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
The city of Haifa boasts the largest port in all of Israel and one of the largest in the entire world. Over half of our import and export passes through the port here in Haifa. Over 25 million tons of cargo and all sorts of cargo, wet cargo, dry cargo, food for human consumption, fertilizers, chemicals, you name it, it passes through these docks right here in Haifa. In fact, it has one of the leading information technology systems which allows it to handle the largest ships in the world, some of them containing over 14,000 containers, like the one you see behind me. It's also a green port. All of the energy here is from green sources. In addition to that, it's also paperless. If that's not enough, it also boasts one of Israel's Navy shipyards. And earlier today, I saw a submarine leaving its base and heading out to sea. There are also docks here to accommodate the international cruise lines that makes Israel one of its destinations. There's also a ferry to and from the ancient city of Akko, offering magnificent views from the sea to the city of Haifa, the Baha'i gardens, the mountains that surround this area, and of course, the ancient port in Akko. From any hilltop here in Haifa, you can see the magnificent harbor and the port here in Haifa. Let's continue as we explore more of this incredible city. We're joined here by Professor Bayar, who's the director of the Rambam Hospital. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You know, the Rambam Hospital is one of the most modern hospitals in the world, and much of that has to do with the fact that Israel is the start-up nation. With all of this innovation, how has it affected the medical care here in Israel, but particularly here at the Rambam Hospital?
Well, it really had a tremendous impact on the way we treat patients here and in the world. I can give you many examples, but I can take one example of, for example, a company that was started here in Haifa called InsightTech. This company is doing a special helmet that transmits ultrasound waves to actually burn little dots inside your brain and treat diseases like Parkinson, like essential tremor, and it does marvelous opportunities without opening the skull, without surgeries. So this is an amazing example of one thing, but there are many other technologies that are developed here, and this is also because we are a hospital focused on innovations that actually doing joint work with the Technion, which is the MIT of Israel, which is our university next to us. And this creates a great opportunity for combining the physician, the engineer, and the scientist to promote the future of medicine.
Amazing. But Israel's not the only nation to be riding this wave of innovation and the future of medical care. I understand you work side by side with General Electric in America in producing some of these new concepts.
Of course, all innovations in medicine depend on international collaborations, and this is an example of a great international collaboration with GE on developing imaging system, sophisticated imaging system that will actually be able to combine the anatomy of the heart, for example, and the function of the heart, the perfusion of the heart, how much blood is supplying the muscle there. And when you do them both together, you create a picture which describes exactly where is the pathology. This was developed here at Rambam together with GE and together with other institutions like Johns Hopkins and Sloan Kettering, and doing things together to promote medical technology.
I'm always amazed at how many advancements are coming out of Israel. So a lot of people are under the impression that Israel is a racist state, an apartheid state, God forbid. However, here at the Rambam, it's the epitome of the reality here in Israel is that Arabs have equal rights and equal opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit about the coexistence that exists here at the hospital?
Rambam has 25% of the staff is Arab citizens around us, whether Muslim, Druze, Christians, Jews, working hand in hand to save lives. And we have many examples of heads of departments, professors, heads of units who are Arabs who go it. A Muslim woman is the head of nephrology at Rambam. A Christian man is the head of trauma at Rambam. And we have many examples like that. And everybody works together, hand in hand, on a daily basis to save lives, friends together. I think it's a great opportunity. Everybody can reach to the top positions, and there is no discrimination, and the same for the patients here.
You mentioned the fact that the Rambam Hospital has no discrimination to who it hires or who it treats. You even treat Syrians who've been affected by the civil war over there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we do have over the last 2 or 3 years a civilian injured from Syria who come to the border, seen by a doctor on the border, and brought to Rambam and to other hospitals in north of Israel to be treated here. They get treated here and they get all the social infrastructure around them to help them to overcome this period here at Rambam, and then they're sent back to their families at home. And we have some amazing stories of children who've been treated here. There was also an amazing story of a child at the age of 6 years old that came here because she was injured, and then when she was treated and healed from the injury, she was diagnosed with aplastic anemia, a disease that if you sent back without bone marrow transplantation, you're dead. So we really had to find out a way to bring her family from Syria to donate bone marrow to her here at Rambam. It was an amazing story, and she was successful.
Well, with all of the bloodshed that is unfortunately happening in Syria, it's good to know that Israel is here helping out some of those unfortunate victims, the citizens who are affected by that war.
Yeah, for sure. And we also I can tell you that throughout all the conflicts, we are treating Palestinian patients from Gaza, from the West Bank. On a daily basis, we do have at least several dozens of physicians from the Palestinian Authority who are trained at Rambam, surgeons who work together with our surgeons to know how to do brain surgery, thoracic surgery, and then they sent back to their hometowns and home city in the Palestinian Authority. So coexistence is possible, and I think that Rambam is one of the greatest examples for that.
Well, it's clear that you are doing a fantastic job directing the future of the Rambam Hospital. Professor, thank you so much for all your time you've given us here today, and we wish you the best of luck here at the hospital.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned as we continue to explore the city of Haifa.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Right in the heart of downtown Haifa is the original building of the Technion University, Israel's #1 school for science and technology. Its cornerstone was laid in 1912 and it opened its doors in 1924. And right here in this building, it had classes all the way into the 1980s when they moved to a bigger and better location. This building was converted over to Moditech, Israel's National Museum of Science, Technology, and Space. Let's now meet with the Director General of the museum. We're here with Eli Schirmeister, who after 35 years of active military service in the Israeli Defense Forces, where his last position was the Chief Officer of Education for the entire Army, has taken the role of Director General of Moditech, Israel's National Science Museum of Technology and Space. General Schirmeister, thank you so much for joining with us today.
David, thank you for coming.
So tell us a little bit about Moditech and what its goals are.
Well, Moditech, as you said, the National Museum of Science, Technology and Space, the Daniel and Matilda Recanati Center. Its goal, its mission, its main mission is to get science and technology close and friendly to the public and mainly encourage kids to choose science or technology as their way of life.
You know, Israel has a long history of being known as the startup nation, filled with innovators, entrepreneurs, forward thinkers. Why do you think that is?
Well, Israel deserves its title as the startup nation, and I think it goes back to the origins of Jewish culture and the Israeli culture. Jews like to argue. Jews question everything. They don't get anything for granted. They always seek for the truth. And the Israeli chutzpah is known. Israelis, when they fail, they stand up on their legs, they try again. If they are thrown out of the door, they'll come back through the window. And this is what you need in order to be an inventor or an entrepreneur, and to think out of the box and to try again and again. And this is how Israelis succeed, maybe more than others in their way.
Moditech has developed its own science exhibits, which have been exported around the world. Tell us a little bit about some of those exhibits.
Well, Cubics is a good example. That's an exhibition that combines art and science. The kids are crazy about it. For them, it is a playground. For us, it is a platform to deliver science and technology messages. And another example is our activity in Ethiopia, for example. We already built one science center in Addis Ababa, and now we're building two more in the northern part of the country. And we build a science park in Ukraine, and at the same time we travel with our robots and our 3D printers to summer camps in US.
Incredible. And what do you offer for visitors to the museum and tourists from abroad?
Well, the museum is guided in Hebrew, Arabic, Spanish, Russian, and English. So every visitor, every tourist can find his way here in Madatech. And for groups of tourists, we develop a tailor-made educational or guided program.
It sounds like no matter where you're from in the world or where you're holding in science, Madatech has a program tailor-made just for you.
Absolutely, David. This is how we work here.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about the museum with us here today on Land of the Bible.
Thank you for coming, and do come again with your families, with kids, with friends. We are always open for you.
We're planning on it. Stay tuned as we learn more about Haifa. Join us next time on Land of the Bible as we explore the modern city of Jerusalem and learn how this ancient capital became a thriving metropolitan 21st century city. What an amazing day it's been exploring Israel's fourth largest city, the city of Haifa, and the Carmel Mountains. Remember, I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.